guys show the French Revolution through the life of four young adults navigating life?
Well, that's because, you know, when you're young, especially at that age, you know, when you've come out of childhood, you're in adolescence, you're about to hit young adulthood, and of course in those days people grew up very quickly. It's actually a major change in life, and to set it against a major change in history also works really well. And the fact is that, you know, when people are living through big historical events, they don't know what's going to happen. We have the benefit of hindsight, we know what happened, but they don't, and they sort of have to live it day by day. And so it was a really interesting way to handle it, and a very human way. History can be too abstract otherwise. You need to put it through personal lives in order for it to speak to readers, I think. Yeah.
Very good, thank you. The next question is, what was your favourite part about writing Black Wings?
Well, I guess my favourite part really is the fact that, look, I've lived with this kind of story for a very long time. Since I was a child, my father told us lots and lots of stories about that area of history, because his family originally comes from Western France, from Vendée, where a lot of the story takes place. And I heard so much about it. And as a teenager, I wrote a short story which is set during the Vendée Wars, but it's just a short story. And this one was like a culmination of so many things, and I've dedicated it to my father because of the fact that a lot of it has come from being inspired by his stories. But just to bring that whole thing to life, and to have the reaction, obviously, of people who have read it already, who say, wow, you know, I did not know things went like that, and this is very involving, and all that sort of thing. So it really feels like a story that I first heard about, if you like. The original inspiration comes from way back in my childhood, but to actually see it now in this beautiful book that the Greystones Press has produced is just fantastic.
It is a really beautiful book.
Yes.
And the final question is, so you've mentioned before in a past interview, if we don't forget the past, we hopefully will not make the same mistakes.
Yes.
So my question is, what is one of the main points you hope readers take away from this book?
Well, I hope that the main point they take away is that events that we see as historical, that we see as having been completed, actually have continuing repercussions into the future. I mean, France has been forever affected by what happened during that time. A lot of things have not been completely processed. A lot of divisions started that we see in modern France now have started at that time. They haven't quite got over what happened. And I think that it's really important for people to know that, and to know that it's not just events in a book, in a history book. It's actually things that has ongoing repercussions, and that can trigger off other things. So, for instance, you know, the French Revolution triggered off the Russian Revolution later because it inspired it, and you know, so therefore, then that was a huge events that sort of spiraled out across the globe. So, I guess what I also want them to know, though, is that it affects people personally. It's not just about historical forces, it's about real people, and we're seeing things happening right now all over the world that in times to come will be seen as history, but have been lived by real people and affect their real lives. So I guess that's the thing, is history is not some dead thing in a textbook. It's actually going on all the time, and its effects are felt continuously. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. So that is Sophie Masson, the author of Black Wings from Greystone Press, and it's going to be published on Thursday, the 4th of October 2018. Thank you very much.
Thank you.